Yo, that's fucking mad. Listen, bro. Anyway, first of all, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to your favorite potential Nigerian, what sort of I was saying? Welcome back to your potentially favorite Nigerian podcast with me, your host, General Prime. Um, Welcome back to Beer with Me. With me, your host, General Prime. Yeah, I'm glad I got that finally. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, I'm just listen. As adults, like we don't have time anymore to do things that, to do things that are fun for us. And so the little time we have, we just like use it to like just chill and relax, right? I mean, everybody understands this already now. So like I'm just watching this and we don't have the time to like watch 1 hour, 2 hour movies. So I just came across this YouTube channel called Movie Recaps, and like like they like explain the movie to you like in 15 minutes, and that's like crazy how they do that stuff. I always wonder. But like there's this movie I'm like listening to its recap, like about where death decided that he's not going to take people's lives again. Like just imagine, and like eh, nobody, as in he made it so that like nobody in the world will ever die, right? And now let's just imagine that for a second. Like just imagine that you know how painful death is, right? Like you know how painful death can be. Like my guy, like my housemate right now, lost his friend, like lost his childhood childhood friend, like about 2 days ago. Like he had a fucking accident and guy died, stuff like that. And now the investigation coming out is that like it wasn't actually an accident, it was kind of like an assassination because he was drugged in a hotel. And like I don't know, it's crazy, bro. Like the whole thing just escalated too quickly. So but then, because of how complex and confusing this situation is right now, um it's like it's painful for my housemate, because like he just wants his friends, the memory of his friend, because he said like on their WhatsApp group he's the one that always prays for everybody, and like wishes everybody a good week and stuff like so he sounds like a swell guy. So imagine the kind of pain my housemates is going through right now, right? Because of because of the death of his friend. And imagine the pain that most of us that have lost someone that we care about and we love, imagine how painful it is to lose them, right? And then just imagine, like I always talk about deaths, right? Just imagine that you're eventually going to die and everything that you love and you've ever known is eventually going to end. But then now let's imagine that by some miracle it never happened again. Like what do you know what do you know what it means? Do you know what it would be like if nothing ever died again? Like if death didn't like exist anymore. That's going to be crazy. That is going to be fucked up. And as painful as death is, right? It is the most necessary, essential thing ever. Like death is even better than life. Do you understand? Like the reason why I'm saying death is better than life is that, bro, for you to experience death, you have to pay the ticket of life. Do you understand? It's like life is like Disney World. Sorry, death is like Disney World, while life is like the vehicle you get into to go to Disney World. That's how important death is. It's like death is the most important thing. Like if somebody comes and says your money or your life, you're supposed to say my life, so that you just be able to experience death. That's how important. Like the person, when you say my life, the person will look at you like, what's just give me the you're weird though. What are you saying? Give me the watch. Let me be going. Give me the phone. Let me just go. The person will look at you like, Is this one okay? Person will be like, are you okay? Is everything okay at home? Like, are you okay? So um the guy will collect your watch and collect your phone and just leave you because but they won't understand how important, like, how, if you know these secrets that I'm just fucking talking about right now while I'm high as fuck. If you have come to the realization as I am now, actually, at the same time with everybody else listening to this, um coming to the realization, is like, if you know the secrets, you understand what I mean. That's how important death is. So like, as important as that is, right? We still wish that immortality is like, we can be immortal. So but then now, just imagine now that death no longer exists. Do you know how bonkers that is going to be? Do you know the level of chaos that is going to bring? Like, do you even understand? Like, there's let me even give you another point self. As in, death is so important that when we get the ticket of life, like when we get the ticket of life, like, we will do anything subconsciously to get to death quicker. Do you understand? Like, though our it's going to be it has to be a subconscious thing, so that it can help us, it can help the conscious to like get to its goal of experiencing death quicker. So like, that's why we have a lot of corrupt people, that's why we have a lot of bad people, that's why we have a lot of criminals, a lot of dishonest people. People will do anything to as in people will do anything to like, to have their way subconsciously to get to death quicker. So that's what, I don't know, this is just one weird ass point, like, I just that that I came up with, because in the movie, like, yes, nobody is going to die again. Like, nobody is going to die ever. So that your loved one that you want, that your loved one that you don't want to go, that your loved one will continue suffering, even if you're, as in, the fact that you're never going to die again doesn't mean that you're not going to feel pain. Oh. Like, there are people that were in a fire and then they brought them to the hospital, like their bodies were like scaled and they were like barbecued meat, yet they were still alive in that pain. So at that moment you'll be like, you'll be like, these people, their suffering needs to end, and their suffering can only end with death. But yet, because death does not exist anymore, those people are going to be in perpetual, as in eternal hell. Imagine, like, there was one time I was watching bro, fuck. There was one time I saw something on Twitter, like, of accident victims, bro. God damn, of accident victims. Like, the woman in the car, she was still alive, and her face was like, she was holding her face, bro. She was holding her face in her hand, but she was still alive, and she was trying to like you could see her eyes and her face were in her hands, and like you could see her trying, in the video she was trying to like put it real life, my nigga, real life. That's the kind of thing that's on Twitter. You see Twitter, God, hey, God, Twitter is evil, bro. I was just scrolling, I was just scrolling. Next thing, I just pow. They just showed it to me. I could not look away. The woman was like trying to put her face back into her head. That is how bloody this fucking accident scene was. So imagine now that there is no death again. Like, death does not exist. Like that, at that moment, bro, you need to die. Do you understand? Like, you need to die. And how old how old do you want to get? Do you understand? You're not going to be immortal in the sense that you're going to like retain your age. No. No. That is not it though. You get old, but you get old. Nigga, you go old. Like, we have never got to see how old somebody really can be. Like all these Bible people that usually say that people used to live to be 900 years. Like, are you stupid? What? Are you even stupid? How can you think that? What are you saying? So all this, so we have but realistically, in reality, we have never really got to see how old really somebody can get. Like the most you can see is like 122 years. So imagine that. And like, I want to see how a 200-year-old person looks. Do you understand? So imagine that, like, nobody will ever die again, and people old. Like people go old, they go old. Like people will turn to bread. What? They old. God damn. And but then, because they cannot die, like people that, just imagine you now. At first, you realize that you're immortal, right? People bang now. Jesus Christ. Overpopulation will be overpopulated. People will bang. So like, bro, well, see, yes, human beings are the only species of animals that like are all over the planet. Even in Antarctica, we're there. Even in what is the other one? The North Pole, we're there. So like, human beings are everywhere, but not really everywhere, because there are not a lot of people in Antarctica or in the North Pole now, or in like cold regions. So, but when this thing happens, bro, we'll go there. We will go there. So I'm just thinking about it, bro. Like, just what it would be like if nobody ever died again. It would be chaos. Like, it would be madness. Like they say you either die a hero. Just imagine, just look at just imagine this saying: you either die a hero or live long enough to become a villain. And yes, everybody understands it on surface level, but if you think about it, it's easier for you to die a good. It's better, so that the memory of you forever and ever will be that of good. Do you understand? Like, in my previous episode, I was talking about how how we idolize celebrities, and how I am always like right that whenever there's a celebrity that people are adoring, like it always comes out that this person is like, this person has a like skeleton in their closet. Talk about fucking, let's say, the Will Smith. We talk about Bill Cosby. We talk about like all these famous celebrities that Kanye West, Kim Kardashian, all these, even YouTubers like fucking PewDiePie, or what's his name? Fucking what is his fucking name again? Andrew Tate, Kevin, all these Kevin Samuels, all these people, all these people that people look up to, that at the end of the day, it turns out that like they too have like their dark sides, right? And then also, we have celebrities that are good, that we see as good, like people like, let me say, someone like Kanye West, someone like The Rock. No, sorry, not Kanye West. Sorry, what is his name? Keanu Reeves, right? The Rock. Okay, what is his name? Kevin. What's his name again? Kevin Hart. Yeah. I'm too hard to remember these people's names, man. So, but all these people, all these ones they are considered, even though like Kevin Hart has had his like moments, all these people are considered like quote unquote the good guys, right? So it's, if these guys die now, right, people will remember them for their good deeds forever and ever and ever. So that's what I mean by um that's what I mean by you either die a hero or live long enough to be a villain. Like, it's better for you to like die with a good name than to die with a bad name, right? Because if you die with a good name, even if you die with a bad name, but if you're a famous person that dies with a good name, like there will be people in 10 generations will hear about you, or like 5 generations will hear about you. So yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say. But then again, if death does not happen, like it will get to a point like even though this you love this person, or you love like your family is so close, or like you love your mom, or like you do something like your family is the closest, or your wife is like you love your wife to the like, even if no matter who your loved one is, if there is not going to if there will be no death, like at some point in time there will be a quarrel, like there will be an unforgivable fucking like misunderstanding that will never be resolved forever and ever. So people will be more divided if death does not happen. If there is no death, people who think that like people who think that they are entitled to immortality because of this should I say insipid fucking emotion they feel towards their like towards their head. What will I call it? How will I put it? Their heads, like their tribal heads. So anyway, if there is no death, like if death does not exist, right? People will be more divided than together. Secondly, if death does not exist, people will be bored. Like people will be bored out of their mind. Like even self, let's even like talk about the whole entire Adam and Eve story. It's like, so God said that the fucking that if they eat the tree of life, that's or the tree of knowledge of good and evil, that they are going to die. So what was the plan? What was the plan in it? Just imagine that we never ate of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Like, let's just imagine that Adam and Eve kept to their, or let's just imagine that it's like, why did you even put it? Why did you put it there? These people don't have any concept of death because nobody had ever died before. These people don't have any concept of obedience or disobedience because they don't even have the concept of what good and evil is, because they have obviously not eaten of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Do you understand? So that does not exist in their entire library of perception. It does not make any sense to them. So telling them that they are going to die, what is that? Explain it to me. You would have to like cheat and like literally actually show them what death is, like by doing the killing yourself, so that they can understand it enough to stay away, to be scarred enough for life to stay away from the tree, obviously. So now you have achieved that. Instead of just vaguely telling them that they are going to die without them actually knowing what that means, you have actually shown them what actual death is, and it has scarred them and scared them to the point that they are never going to touch that tree. And now the whole world is populated. So there are like, okay, demographers estimate that like that's the human population is like 50 billion. Like there are 50 billion people that have ever existed ever. Do you understand? So that's what demographers estimate, and half of them have been killed by mosquitoes. So imagine that there are 50 billion people in this world now. just just running around naked. What? Just running around naked, doing whatever it is they're doing, because they don't eat some tree, eat out of one tree like that. If aliens come, right? Let's say that this whole entire reality is a project, and our own, let me say, our own reality is the project of what we understand to be God, and God is just like some weird college kid experimenting on the sexuality, right? And then he has created this fucking weird ass simulation where everybody's like naked, running around just doing shit, and his roommates come and sees this. They're going to, and his roommates happen to be what we would call aliens, like creations of, let me say, creations of, like aliens are creations of another like being whom they would assume to be their own version of God, right? So if they come and like see this guy's like projects, they'll call him, they will obviously bully him because running around naked, 50 billion people, that is that is what they call gay. You understand? So that is weird. Don't do that. So it does not make any sense for like people to for death not to be like to exist. It does not make it absolutely makes no sense. As painful as it is, bro. Like as painful as death is. Like that woman now. I saw that thing scarred me. Oh. See, it scarred me more than the first time I watched a beheading video. Like I can remember back, like let me say, I don't even know, maybe like 2009 or so. As in, my brother just like showed me this video, like back when we used to use all those old phones, man, those simple days. So he just showed me this video of like the the Taliban people just like made the man to kneel down. Somebody just brought out cutlass and started hacking the man. It was so shocking to me. Like the two most shocking things that have happened to me is like the first time I saw porn, and and the next one was the first this video this video I'm talking about right now. Like they just hacked that guy's head, and it's like imagine hitting like a nail with a hammer. Just imagine that. They're just hacking the guy's head until the head fell off, and then they carried it and dropped it on his body. It was so surreal. So that is the first thing I can remember that scarred the fuck out of me. And then the second thing the second thing being this woman like trying to like put her face back into her fix her face back into her head. So everything I'm just trying to say, like I've been trying to say for the past 22 minutes now, is that death is necessary. Like even though it's painful, even though it's like scarring, even though it's horrible, even though like I always talk about this poem by Philip Larkin, The Obeyed, where he says that we cannot accept it, yet we cannot escape it. It's like, what are you going to do? Nothing. You understand? Because it is necessary. It is so necessary that it surpasses your fear and your love and your compassion and your like memory. You understand? That's how necessary death is. So to everybody like going through it right now is like I understand, but this is just what must happen, and it will happen to every single one of us. And as much as it's painful to like, bro, just imagine like losing your love. Well, anyway, yeah, that's I don't want to like go too deep into that. I don't want this to turn to I don't want this to go from like a, you know how weed can make you now. Weed can like just like take over your emotions. Like it will just like take you over. So I don't want to like make this go from like a fun kind of vibe and mood to like a fucked up emotional dreary mood. No, 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 no. I don't want to do that. I don't. That one is like for my own private, when I'm doing my meditation. That one is for me and me alone. So, but as painful as that shit is, man, it's like um it's like we still need to like experience it. You understand? It is the experience of all experiences. What? The experience of all experiences. Nothing tops it. So I will be looking forward to yours. So that's that about that. That's not even what I wanted to talk about today, Self. That is like I was just watching like YouTube shorts. Oh no, no, sorry, not YouTube shorts. Like the movie recap stuff. And it just gave me the motive to like just start it on that tangent. You understand? Like what I even wanted to talk about is like, it's not even now I want to talk about it. Like I want to like really, really get there so that I can, you understand, so that I can be in that mood. But see, have you ever been in a situation where, let me say, you're arguing with somebody, right? You're having a heated argument with someone, and then like you bring up like some detail, and like it's like you almost won the argument, and then the person brings up another detail, and like he just like, it's like a knockout. You understand? And then now when you're now like alone with yourself, probably it always happens when you're bathing, or yeah, it always happens when you're bathing. It always happens when you're in the bathroom having a bath or a shower. It's like you now like think of that mad argument. That's when you're playing, for people that I don't know how to play like Uno, or I don't know how to play all these cards. I don't know how to do like all these gambling cards, and I don't know like Ace of Spades. I don't know how those things work, and I've never bothered to learn. But the only card I know is what. Like every Nigerian knows how to play. Not sorry, what. Every Nigerian knows how to play what. Do you understand? So that's the only one I know. And then when somebody gives you that last card, and your mind is like your heart is pounding. So you just while you're having your bath, you just think of that last bullet, that you know that if you had dropped it, that nuke, that you know that if you had dropped it, like you would have won that argument. Like everybody has shared that moment, right? So it's also I just realized that it also applies to this whole podcasting, because podcasting is like it's so freeing, and so you're just yourself, you're mellow, you're on your own vibe, you're just doing your thing, and you're just having a conversation probably with somebody else, or like the way I do it, just monologuing it like that, right? So but even while you're like just talking and talking like and talking, you still need to like come up with points. You still need to be relatable, you still need to be logical, you still need to be factual, you still need to be like truthful and honest, right? Even though you can be doing it in your own style, you can be like me now, the way I do it, like I'm always high and probably sometimes drunk, so that I can be in that vibe. You understand? Because I'm a very reticent person. Like this is just me putting up an act basically, because I'm known to be a very quiet person. Like I am known to be a very silent person. I don't say much, but the only way I can like express myself like this is to be high on the devil's what on the devil's lettuce. What the fuck? So like this is me. This is a persona. This must be what I don't know. So anyway, so what I'm saying is that what I'm saying is that this whole podcasting thing also applies to the whole what am I saying, the whole last card checkup stuff, right? The idea of all sorry, the winner of arguments, right, also applies to podcasting, in the sense that like sometimes I can be saying something like I'm talking about like when I'm saying, like sometimes I can be like saying something, and then I make some points, but when I'm listening back to the whole thing, I realized that there are better points that I could have made. Like I don't know, I'm not explaining it as best as I like cooked it up in my head. Like the way it's in my head is not the way it's coming out of my mouth. What I'm trying to say is that sometimes when I'm like ranting and saying stuff, and then I'm listening back at all the things I've said, I always find out that there are some points that I could have made, like there are better points, or there are better things or better wordings I could have used and stuff like that. So it's kind of fascinating to have that experience. I don't know if it's fascinating, but to me it's interesting. Like for example now, in the previous episode I did, like I was talking about how much we are obsessed with celebrity culture, and the problem with internet idols, and I'd not even like cover the main points. I don't even know what happened. I was just talking rubbish that day. So I don't even know I'd not even like cover the main points of all the things, like the reason why. I know I talked about Andrew Tate, I know I talked about like Kevin Samuels, all those like fucking YouTubers. I forgot to talk about like the impact of like this whole phenomenon of like celebrity politicians, like fucking Donald Trump. It's like why does he have so many followers like that? And look at the impact of his followership. Like the people worshiping Donald Trump, look at what they were willing to do. Like that January 6th what's it called, fucking US capital like fucking invasion. There are people I don't know. It's like that I even that is I forgot to talk about it. Like I forgot to talk about how people are willing to like as in thinking that that's the right way to solve problems. As in that doesn't make any sense. Oh. Like that January 6th stuff was like people invaded like the US capital. It's like for Donald Trump. Like this is how far they're willing to go to like um to not only express their love for their God, but to show that their God is the one true God. Like this literally is how Christianity started, like how Christianity expanded. Like this is it too. Like this is it. Like thousands of years from now, right? There might be something similar to Donald Trumpity. Fucking or no, not Donald Trumpity, like Trumpianity. Do you understand? Where people will, like talk about how they what because this does not make any sense. Like are people willing to like go this far for just for a common politician? So the reason I brought that up is because it's like it's the same thing happening in Nigeria now. This is actually what I want to talk about, like the whole fucking problem in Nigeria right now. It's like what is going on in Nigeria? What exactly is going on? First of all, we have somebody that we are hopeful. Like we're Nigerians are now, as in we know that they have lied to us like countless hundreds of times, right? But now it seems like there's somebody that can actually lead us out of this darkness. And now, and it's like I always talk about how life is just like a video, how life is just fake to me because like I'm just like an observer. You understand? Just looking at things from outside the window, just peeping into the room to see what is going on. And that's how surreal it is to me. It's like um we now have this as in I'm saying that life is like a video game in the sense that you're you're at the end, like you're the end of the journey and um it's like you're now meeting the main boss. You understand? Like you now have to like fight the main boss. So this is it now. Like we have gotten to this point in the journey where things can be like okay for us in the sense of this like new presidential candidate now. And now the whole problem of Naira now in Nigeria. Like there's no Naira now. Like why what is the point of that? What are you trying to achieve by not by just keeping money from people? Like do you want people to starve or as in what are you even saying? What are you even doing? Do you want people because how else are people willing to see this is going to go one of two ways. I know I am like spiraling off into some weird tangent now, but I'll come back. See, this is going to happen in one of two ways, or should I say one of three ways. The first one being you're going to starve people to death because um without money, how will people like how will people like trade? How will people exchange goods? How will people like eat? How people because money is the fuel that oils the machine. Like without it, if all of us one day just collectively decide that no, we're not going to money is not going to be important again. Let's just kumbaya the shit. Like whatever you want, I'm going to give it to you. Whatever you want or whatever I want, you're going to give it to me. Do you understand? We'll just make money useless. Like if there's an outbreak, like for example, now I'm just waiting for episode 4 of The Last of Us, which by the way has been phenomenal. Do you understand? Like that's the best like reiteration of video game that I've ever seen. Like that's the best so far. So what if that's in as in just like in let's say the world in The Last of Us now, like money is useless. That's how useless money is. That just shows you how useless that just shows you how much at the end of the day how much trust we all have in each other when to collectively agree that money is like is a thing. Do you understand? So but then when because at the end of the day we just want to chow, we just want to eat. You understand? Every other thing that comes with it is like um is just like a what is it called? Fucking peripheral. You understand? We just want to chow. So so how do you now expect people to to trade if there is not going to be money? People are just going to starve. You understand? Or people are it's going to cause chaos. Like there's going to be riot. People they'll be looting. They'll be killing everything. People will just their animalistic tendencies will show up. All those like the Joker said, like we're just our society is just like hanging on the fragile thread that at the slightest semblance of trouble, like everybody just goes into chaos. So that is just one of the outcomes. And you that you're hoarding the money, you that you're hoarding you want money, right? You that you're hoarding the money, they will most definitely come for you. Like I don't know if you've seen Love, Sex and Robots, right? In the season two, wait, is this season? Yeah, in the season three, the one about the three robots that are on a tour of investigate on a tour of how of a desolate world where they are no where all the humans are dead, and so like they're just going on a history of trying to figure out what killed the humans. So they in this episode in season four where they meet where the rich people held themselves up in a bunker, and some other rich people went to the moon. Some other rich people were like they were in a oil a like how where oil rigs are now in the sea, but it's like a hotel. You understand? At the end of the day, they all died. Like all the whole rich people still died. So what I'm saying is that you that you're hoarding the money because you want to be powerful and you want at the end of the day you're still they will still come for you. If that's one of the ways that you're going to go. The second way that sorry about that. The second way that this whole thing can go is that humans will realize that money is useless, and then they will come together and decide to form another kind of form of exchange that replaces money, but this time will be more honest and more transparent and more open and more as in like to teach is like more educational because and because it's because of the experience we've gained from this whole entire money thing. The world will be more idealistically communistic. That's basically what I'm trying to say. So people are going to figure out that money is actually useless, and then they'll find another way to cope and to like continue society, essentially. So that is one of two ways that is going to go, and in either way, it's not going to be beneficial to you that you're holding the money. So now that we have gotten this whole now that we have gotten this hope and this new problem has risen up now, what point are you trying to make? Like why can't you just because in listen everything like nothing can be good or bad or bad or good like now now that let's say okay, but the point I'm trying to make is that it's already affecting these whole rich people because I don't know the kind of game if unless the people that made this whole policy that there's not going to be naira, unless before they did this, I'm coming up with a conspiracy theory here. Unless because before they did this, they exchanged a bunch of their naira for dollar. Do you understand? Like they made that initial exchange before implementing this law. This is just me coming up with a weird ass conspiracy theory now. They all these all these Nigerian bill. Obviously, I'm sure self. See what am I? Where am I even going? Self to debunk my own conspiracy theory. It's like their cash is already in dollars. Like their wealth and their assets and everything are already insured and stored in dollars, right? So you and your naira, you people are just deceiving yourselves. So they made this policy that now they are going to like keep the naira to starve people. I don't know, to put fear in the mind, like to just create that fear because they don't want this Peter Obi to win. Shit, god damn, they don't want the nigga to win. No, they just want to put fear in the minds of Nigerians because they've seen how it's like they've seen how much love and hope people have in this guy, and they're like, no, we're going to lose this power. Like we are going to lose this power. So let's like look for a way to like put fear in the minds of the people. It's like remind them of that. It's like people that run away from, let me say, bad relationships, like people, women that run away from toxic men. I'm not not to sound like a fucking leftist feminist, but it's like people that run away from abusive relationships now. Um, Sometimes they have this tendency to go back because of that, because subconsciously they kind of want that fear, because that fear is always what keeps them alert. Do you understand? Like this whole the reason why society have evolved to this point is because of fear. Like I don't want to die, right? I like this high. Like fear is what like brings us closer to death. Like we want that thing. Fear, bro. Waiting. Like we want it. It's like that high, nothing. That's why we take cocaine. That's why we take like meth. That's why we take fentanyl. We want that. Like when you experience, when you're coming closer to death, like why do you think people go skydiving? Tell me. Why would somebody? I saw this video, bro. Let me say two things. I've consumed a lot on the internet. I was watching this documentary about skydiving. I was like, oh, I love skydiving. I want to go skydiving one day. Right. So let me just watch this documentary. I just thought that it was a just a normal fun documentary about people that sky. Listen, I started seeing they started showing me they started showing me videos of people plummeting on the mountain. Fuck. I was like, what am I watching? I saw all these skydivers when they, bro, the only one that you see online are the ones that they want to show you. Bro, I saw people like this guy, the skydiver. You know that they are usually two, one videoing and one doing the main stunt. So the guy that was videoing, the footage was of the guy in front of him. He just like as he was moving at a speed of 10,000 billion kilometers per second. The guy just like, fuck. I was like, what the fuck? What? I don't know whether I was high. I think I must have been high that deal. That's why, because why would I want to, why would I want to watch like wait, I knew I was high. Yeah, of course. I had to have been high that day because 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 how did I not see it coming? What it's like maybe I just saw sky. You know how when you like hover over a YouTube thumbnail, like to play a clip or two of like you just play one clip, right? So maybe I probably must have seen that and I'm like, oh, I want to watch like skydiving stuff. I'd not read the title, I'd not do nothing. And yet I was watching to the point where like they finally showed me somebody like on the mountainside. And again, one of the skydivers, she's a woman. She's a woman and she has married 7 husbands. And all the 7 husbands are skydivers. And all of them are dead. And now she's engaged to the 8th. I was like, Oga, come. Bro, this woman has 7 husbands. And all of them are skydivers. Yes. And all of them are dead. Yes. Now you're getting ready to get engaged to her. Yes. What job do you do? I'm a skydiver. And you're aware of this woman's you're aware of her what is it called? The thing that is going on with her. I've forgotten the word. Her situation. You're aware of her because because the problem is not you. The problem is her. It's like the problem is not you. The problem is her. You're going to die. So that one is not the problem. It's not the issue. So, or to tie back to everything I'm saying is that we want this fear, right? Because why else would people want to go skydiving with that kind of danger involved? Like why else would people want to jump out of planes, or why else would people like go kayaking? What? Go kayaking with where there's like crocodile infested fucking swamps. It's only white people that can do that. It's white people. So yeah, to go back to what I'm saying, right? These fucking evil Nigerian governments are like using this are like doing all these things to put Nigerian to bring back that fear in the hearts of Nigerians, because they are just noticing now that Nigerians are beginning to realize what it feels like. What I think they're beginning to smell freedom and liberation and freedom from oppression, because like when I've seen where I have seen all these P2P campaigns, like where people have gathered to list, even when like his clips online when he's talking, like when he's talking to people, like if you compare when, like, let me see, this is the truth that I'm about to say now. If you compare when someone like say Tinubu now, he's doing his campaign, and then the camera pans to the faces of the people, they might be smiling, right? They might be smiling, but they are smiling because they are in anticipation of getting paid and getting the fuck out of there. They are there because of the money. Do you understand? They are there because they know that this person is evil. Like even though that even though they don't want to admit it to themselves or to the people around them, they know that this person is evil, and this person does not want the good. This person does not want good to happen. And me, I am so far away from my potential of doing good that, like, doing good is so unreachable from me that I won't even allow it to happen. Do you understand? So that's why they choose to like do evil, like follow him and then collect his money. So that's why they are smiling. Even though they are smiling, right? They are not happy. They are just there for the money and the benefits. But then when you now compare it to when people are listening to P2B, and then like the camera pans to the faces of the people, listen, they are actually listening to him. It's like people are actually listening, and people are like actually, as in, listen, hearing the gospel, like that, as in, like when they say that the gospel means good news, it's like this person is the gospel does not have to concern Jesus Christ. The gospel does not have to concern anything concerning Christianity. It's like this guy is actually saying the gospel, and he's actually telling people the truth that, oh, this is what is going on in Nigeria, and this is how we can fix it. But if he's lying, then he's a spectacular liar. But let's just assume that he's saying the truth, right? Let's just assume that he's just preaching the gospel now. People are actually listening, like people are actually attentive. People are actually giving him their ears. And there is kind of hope in Nigeria. Like before this whole problem of lack of naira notes in Nigeria, people were I kind of had this kind of vibe that people were Nigerians were actually looking forward to something. Like from the whole everything I've seen online, most things actually I've seen online are people actually looking forward to, like the election later this month. So so I got that feeling that people are actually listening to Peter Obi because they're actually interested in what he has to offer, and they're beginning to believe him and show love and support for him, and it's beginning to feel like, oh, he's actually going. He actually has a shot to win this stuff. Oh. Now the powers that be, you people that run Nigeria, the people that the people from the underworld, do you understand? They don't want that to happen because they just want power. Like power is to them, power is the thing that makes them feel closest to death. So whether they know it or not, because which powerful tyrant does not end up like dying horrifically? Like which powerful? Just sit down and think. Like sit down and think of any powerful tyrant that doesn't have like a horrible end, that doesn't like meet a horrible end. Like all of them, you understand? All of them, all like they always have like this fucked up, terrible end. So, maybe to them that's what gets them high, like this acquisition of power, so that they can like meet the most terrible. There's like all these powerful people, they are competing. It's like all these boats that they are buying, all these like rockets they are buying, all these mansions they are buying. It's not like they are competing to show off how much who is more wealthy. They are competing to show off whose own debt will be like, because the more you acquire, the more powerful you are, the more painful the more painful your end will be. So like they are all as in the pain and the feeling that comes from them dying. Like that's fear it gives them is what they're chasing through the acquisition of all this stuff that and all this power that they're accumulating. So that's what gets them high. That's what gets them off basically. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's why they're trying to hoard all these things for themselves and like keep people in penury and suffering and just lack. So how what else? What is the way forward now? What's Nigeria? What can Nigerians do now to like survive this new problem? How are we going to beat this boss? Like how are we going to pass this stage with 100% health and stamina and like health potions and magic and stuff? Like how are we going to like pass this stage? How are we going to beat this boss? Um, how that is the question. How are we going to beat this boss? I don't even know where I can like I don't even know where I can start from to think of a way to like solve this problem. Probably maybe what we can do is like wait it out, I guess. What to wait it out? How is that going to work? Or like okay, for example, now people we are starting to see signs of like chaos. Like when there is fear, people like act erratically, and people act out of like people just quickly react to it. So now they're now breaking into banks. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. They started to break into banks. When there is no when all the money in the banks have now like finished, they will now start breaking into homes. And when they start breaking into homes, people are going to start losing lives. You understand? Like this is already starting to happen. Like the unrest is already starting. Like this is it. Like when you put like dough in the oven so that it eventually when it has started to turn to bread, when it has started to show signs that this thing don't dey enter, oh, god damn. Or when you like frying chicken and the chicken don't they fry. Do you understand? The chicken don't they fry. It never fry you. It never fry, but it don't they fry. You understand? So that is where we are heading to now. We are heading towards the chicken to fry. And it's going to be bloody if we get there. Let's just try our best not to get there, I beg. Because Nigerians have suffered enough now. Nigerians have suffered enough, and it's like, what else do you want? You understand? Like, what else do you want? What more do you want from Nigerians? How else do you want us to do? Do you understand? Like, how can there just not be Naira? How can there just not be Naira? And why? Like I saw a video where I don't know where whether it was like new Naira notes or the old ones. Like they were okay. No, they said that it was the new Naira notes. Like they stockpiled the new Naira notes inside some like um safe in one like apartment like that. It's like so they're actually like keeping. There is money, there is money, but they're still like keeping the money. They don't want people to like they don't want to distribute it because obviously if you don't distribute it, how will people have it? And then if people don't have it, how are they going to survive? And if they are not able to survive, like what will they do? Like civil unrest. Do you understand? They will look for a way to survive because that's just the human instinct, a way to survive. That's it. They will always look for a way to survive. Um but through good or evil means. You understand? Food must enter that belly. So, like, bro, this is going to. I don't know. I don't know what is going to happen. And we Nigerians, right? We are egotistical and we are very reactional. Do you understand? Nigerians, you cannot just fuck with us like that. Even here on this stupid island, like they can do whatever they want to do with Cameroonians or Ghanaians or like Kenyans or fucking South Africans. They are the worst. They're just the fucking pussies, right? They can do anything they want to do to Pakistanis or like all these Indian guys, right? But they don't just fuck with Nigerians like that. No, no, no. Say some fear also. Like I've seen where they're partying for. I've seen where a Niger guy here is like just partying for like a fucking Turkish man, and the man just, man just like, man just see, they do fear us, and that fear is like, um, as in they depend. See, there is a post that one Turkish woman made here one time, posted here one time. She said that if not for Nigerians, this whole place would have gone bankrupt because we're the ones doing the spending, we're the ones doing the buying, we're the ones buying the cars, we're the ones buying the apartments, we're also the ones like doing the whole working for them basically. We are everywhere, we are working. Nigerians here are working. Oh. Even here, even like they are working. We're everywhere, anywhere like there's work, as long as that work will bring money, like we are doing that job. But the sad part is that the work here are mostly manual labor jobs, and our girls, Nigerian girls here, well, as in there are only a very few places that like Nigerian girls can work here, and um those as in because there are so few and so many Nigerian girls, like to get a job here as a Nigerian girl is almost impossible. Like you have to have some mad level of connection to like have a job here. So but for guys it's easy. Like you can just enter any any uncompleted building and tell them Chadish farmer and they'll say, yeah, come and work, bro. Come and pack sand. So but for girls they don't have that like luck, they don't have that kind of opportunity, right? So what so how else do they then survive? Like through like bro, if I'm not going to lie, I don't know whether I'm lying to any other person living here that that's you understands what I'm saying. Like 90% of Nigeria, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't mean to sound sexist though. I don't mean to sound sexist, but let's just say 80% of Nigerian girls here are doing like hookup. 80%. I know that there are some 20% that are just like level headed in other ways, but but bro, right now 80% of Nigerian girls are doing here are doing hookup, and it's sad. It's kind of sad because how else do you want them to survive? And some of them some of them come here on their own, but it's fucked up that there are women that bring girls here to do hookup. Like it's fucked up that we're doing that to ourselves. Like man, we're some depraved animals. We human beings, we're some fucked up depraved animals. How can you do that to your fellow woman because of what? Money. This thing that we are all look at, we don't even trust ourselves, but we're just using the last string of our trust to reassure to lie to ourselves that is important. We're just lying to ourselves that money is important, but then at the slightest whim or sniff of trouble, money becomes unimportant. Like when it really gets to it, money becomes unimportant. But yet we can do anything for it. Like how would you subject your fellow woman? After now, people will be talking about people are feminists, equality for all women. It's like why would you bring fellow woman to come and do prostitution in another man's land because of money? Like what happened to you when you were a child? You were looking forward to doing when you became an adult. Like is it any to have sex with these fucking Turkish people and other fucked up Nigerian Africans and fucking blacks here? So that it's girls that yourself, what kind of situation are you in that you're willing to think that you can, that it is a good idea to travel to another country to like sell your body to just to have money? Like didn't you think of what could go wrong? Like didn't you think of the things that could go wrong? It's like why were you thinking only of the positive? It's like all these arm robbers that go to, it's not only arm robbers, like my fucking housemates here when playing all this, they're like fucking betting, right? They always bet like, so like okay, the other day now my housemate bet like 8,000, like 8,000 naira, and he said that he's going to win 50 million naira, and I'm like what's I was like, how do you know that you're going to win? So Earlier, before we were arguing about probability, right? We are talking about how, although something is 98% certain, it doesn't actually mean that it is going to happen. Like there's still a 2% uncertainty. There's still a 2% chance that it's actually not going to happen. But they didn't seem to understand they didn't seem to understand the point I was trying to make. So when the guy now said that the games that he played, like he played it with 8,000 naira and he's like going to win fucking 50 million naira. It's like when he told me that, so I was not like, okay, the opportunity now came, and I was like, okay, so what is the probability that you're going to how many percent sure are you that you're going to win this 50 million naira? Because it just sounded so absurd to me. So he said he's 67% sure. Like, so 67% sure, then it's not going to happen now. Like, it's not going to happen. If you're 67% sure that you're going to win 50 million naira with like 8,000 naira, bro, it's not going to it's not. So it's the same thing with all these armed robbers that think that their idea of robbing a bank, right, is going to be a successful idea. That's just the same level of thinking, like the same kind of mentality they both carry. It's like, you didn't think that you coming to another man's land to prostitute is going to is like there's going to be a happy ending to it. Like, you didn't think of that. So I understand that, well, nobody, the fault is not on only one person. Like, everybody is to blame. Even as it's the blame goes way up to the government itself, because if the government didn't provide, the blame goes way back to the government, because if the government didn't provide for its citizens, like, they, as in, I don't think that all these arm robbers want to arm rob. Do you understand? I don't think that prostitutes want to prostitute. I don't think that, like, cheaters want to cheat. It's just that everybody wants to, like, put food in their stomach, right? And so if it's hard for them to, okay, let's look at it this way. Let's imagine that there's food everywhere on the ground. No. Let's imagine that there is food on, like, there's food everywhere and you can reach it with your, just like by touching the food, right? Then now let's create a scenario where it's a little bit harder. This time around the food is on the ground. Now you have to do the whole entire process of bending down to pick the food, right? Now let's make it a little bit harder again. The food now is like on a tree. You cannot, like, get to the food. You cannot get to it. Now you're starving a little bit. You have to look for a way now to get to reach to the fruit, as in to climb the tree. Even if the tree is too long to climb, you have to, like, look for a way to, like, bring down the fruit from the tree, like maybe by creating a long stick to, like, or devising a way of throwing stones, and you have to, like, hit your target so that the food will come down. Now let's make it a little bit more harder. Now the food is farther away. You don't have to walk. You understand? Let's make it a little bit more harder. Let's add sun. You understand? The sun is so hot. The water is drying up. You have noticed, you have seen water drying up all around you now. Now you've seen another water is drying up slowly. Now you're running to get to that water that is drying up. And then let's make it a little bit more harder now. You see somebody else with the food. You're hungry. You now see somebody else with the food. You now ask the person gives you. Let's make it a little bit more harder. You see somebody with the food. You ask the person for the food. The person says no. And you ask again and the person gives you. Let's make it a little bit more harder again. Now you see somebody with the food. You ask the person for the food and the person says no, and the person eats the food. And the person brings out another food and you ask for it and the person says no, and the person is about to eat the food. That is where all these problems started from. Now people have to do what they have to do to get food. You understand? People have to do whatever it takes to put food in their stomachs. So the problem goes back to the government, because if the government, not that they cannot, it's not even that they cannot though. If the government does not provide for the people, then all these things are what will inevitably happen. But look at all these Scandinavian countries now. Okay, listen, this is the perfect proof. We all like to say that Muslims are hostile and they are very harsh and conservative and very archaic and stoic people, and like they're very very reactionary, right? That's Muslims are just so chaotic and should I say, well, they're stereotypically terrorists, right? So that's how many people, not we, that's how many people interpret the Muslims, right? And but then look at the Arab, all these what they calling them, United Arab Emirates states, right? Like fucking Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, like all these places, and that are very very wealthy. These, but they are also Muslims, right? And yet they are still conservative, and yet they're still like religious, and they're still like very very traditional people. You know, it's like that, like they are the real life representation of Wakanda. Do you understand? So um even though there are they have their shortcomings, like they are very very misogynistic, like they are very misogynistic, there's no mistake about that. It's still somewhere that people like, it's still somewhere that in fact people from our own country would like to go to. You understand, regardless of their religion or beliefs or whatever. And when they go there, they will abide by the, well, I don't know about that one, but at least they dress, they, even if it is for what is it called, uh cosmetic reasons, they dress like them, right? Aesthetic reasons, that's what I was looking for. They dress like them. So um yes, all these places like Dubai, even though the place looks so less, I don't even like Dubai because it just looks like something that let me say you give like an 8-year-old $10 billion. That's what that's what an 8-year-old would come up with. So even though all these places are like really really nice looking, right? Basically nice looking, it is their government, even though they are Muslims, even though we see, because we, regardless of the stereotype we have of Muslims, right? These places are still like places that people really want to go to, people like to go to, because the governments are taking care of them, right? They're using their resources. I don't know, because see, I don't know why African leaders, is it that sweet thing, like, why would you want to live in a mansion when your next door neighbor is living in a shack? It's like, do you know that when you look outside your window, you're going to see like fucking shacks and mud and gutters and sewages and like dirtiness? But when your neighbor looks outside his window, he's going to see a mansion. Like, do you understand that? It's like when they say you what is that? What is that saying? If you point one finger at me, four fingers are pointing back at you. Like that's just basically it, right? Like you think that you're doing, I don't know how I'm trying to, like, I don't know what I'm trying to package here, but I don't know if anybody can understand what I'm saying. It's like at the end of the day, okay, this is another analogy now. One thing I like about video games, like let me say something like racing games. Okay, see, one thing I like about video games is because of the world building, right? Like for example, now I prefer third person shooters. Let me say like in fact in the new Call of Duty, you can do like third person, right? So I prefer that now, where you can see your character, like where you can see the whole just the design and everything. I prefer it to first person shooters, because first you cannot see, it's just like we human beings now, we see in first person, right? We see in first, we cannot see the only way we can see ourselves is like when we look in the mirror, or when we look at ourselves on phones, or like on camera, or on TV, and like on video and stuff. That is the only way we can look at it, but we cannot realistically naturally look at ourselves. We can only look at others, and those others cannot look at themselves, they can only look at us, right? But the reason why I love video games is because the camera is following you, as the camera is following your character. You can look at yourself, and it makes that thing makes or breaks a video game. Like for example, now Cyberpunk 2077, what is the need of giving us all those like cool looking jackets and like clothes and cosmetics when we cannot see them? Like, why did you make it a first person shooter? Like, why did you make a, see, third open world games are better in third persons. Like, if you make an open world game that is an FPS, it's just not going to, it does not hit as well as like third person shooters. So the analogy I'm trying to say is that um in, let's say, when you're playing a racing game, right, you can be able to see your car. Like that's one of the appeal of racing games. Like you can be able to see this car that you're driving. But when you're driving a car in real life, you're only inside the car. You cannot see what the car looks like. You cannot like admire yourself from the only time you can get a glimpse of you admiring yourself driving your own car is when you're passing through like a reflection, like a building that has a mirror reflection. That's the only way. Or sometimes when you can slow down when you're passing. Let me say you're driving on the streets now and you're passing a building that you know has like a glass reflection. You slow down so that you can see yourself. I know everybody understands what I'm saying now. So what am I even saying? So that's the only way we can be able to um uh, we cannot even be able to like see ourselves in third person. You understand? So that's the analogy I'm trying to the analogy I'm trying to create. Like you cannot see yourself enjoying your own car, right? You cannot see yourself enjoying your mansion. You cannot see yourself. The only way you can see it is like through video. You understand? Or through pictures, but you cannot physically in real time see yourself enjoy. The only Okay, for example, now let's say you cannot see yourself chilling in your own house. Like the same way you can watch let's say if you're playing the Sims now, Sims 4 now, and you're watching the character you've created this beautiful, very, like when I play the Sims, like my houses in the Sims, like they are mad houses. Do you understand? Like my houses are mad, are dope houses. So, and then I can watch my characters sleeping. Do you understand? Like you're basically God in the Sims. So you can do that in the Sims, but you cannot do that in real life. So what then is the point? What then is the point of like what then is the point of amassing all this power and all this unnecessary, as in, there's this video I saw of somebody's yacht, that one of these sheiks in all these Arab countries. One of them, his yacht has like a fucking what's it called? What is it? No, sorry, not his yacht. Sorry, his private jet had a sauna in it. It had like a what's like where people, like an what is it called, an orchestra, no, where they play music now, what is it called, like a hall, all these like exotic halls in the fucking private, like where do you even find the space to do all those kind of stuff? And then had like a car park where you like park exotic cars inside the private jet too. I know the private jet's like an Airbus 370 or something, like a very big private jet, but where will you find the space to like, and obviously all of that stuff will like add weight on the plane. So you're just, what are you doing, bro? what's It's like you have more money than sense. That's just that's just what you're saying. So, but I don't know, Sha. I don't know what I'm saying. But what I'm trying to say is that it just sounds hectic to me to go through to have all that kind of stuff. Like people that have like very big giant houses, or people that have swimming pools in their houses. I'm always like, couldn't you use this piece of land for something else? Like you could build a garden. Me, if I hopefully one day get to a point where I can be able to own my own house. Like why will I have a swimming pool? What Swimming pools don't make any sense to me, and people drown in them all the time. Okay, for example, now in Nigeria, now we have two celebrities now that their kids have drowned in swimming pools, like Dubanj, and fucking, what is the other guy's name? The guy now, fucking the short guy. What is fucking Davido? Yeah. What am I saying? Why am I behaving as if I don't know who Davido is? But I don't listen to his music. But obviously, you know who he is. So, yeah, and then his child drowned. It's like, what where would, no, let's not even blame anybody, but the point I'm trying to make is that you saw this happen to the first person and you didn't take any precautions, knowing that you have like a child in the house. Like, first of all, okay, at the end of the day, the point I'm trying to make is, I just don't want, why would you want a swimming pool? Like, you can make a garden, you can grow weed. Do you understand? Like, you can grow that piece of land that you turned into water for no reason, that you don't even use most of the time. You can grow like oranges on it. You can grow weed on it. You understand? You can, if for anything, for nothing, you can grow weed on it. Nothing else. Just grow weed on it, and you'll be fine. You'll be okay. So why are you doing this to yourself? You understand? And the reason I called orange is because orange is my best. Orange is the only fruit. Every other thing, all these other things, they're not fruits. They're just like, But orange is the only fruit in the world. To me, oh, everybody else can go to hell. So just plant orange and weed. You're fine. You're fine for life. You understand? So yeah, that's it. I've been talking for a very long time now. I think I think I don't know. Not that I'm exhausted or anything. I just feel like I've been talking for a while, and points have been made, and stresses have been stretched out. And yeah, that's all I think I can do for now. That's basically it. I just feel like Nigeria gets. I just feel like we leave this chapter, this problem very very soon. We are able to resolve it in the best way possible, because it's just like all these episodal TV shows where at the end of the day the good guys always wins, like fucking SWAT, right? It's like at the end of the day, I hope that everything, and I've been noticing it also, that at the end of the day, we good always prevails, right? We always wins. Like humanity always finds a way to survive, and I just hope that this is just another one. Yes, and even though it's scary, like even though it's scary, and you feel helpless and you don't know what to do, and like how are we going to like survive this one now? You understand? So, but there's always a way. There is always a way. So that's all. That's all I have, or should I say that's all I have for today. Um, Thank you all for giving me your listening ears, for listening with me, for listening to me and chilling with me for this long. If you got to, I don't know, if you got to the end of the if you got to these points, just like holler at me on Twitter. Like I'm trying to grow my Twitter page, because Twitter is as as fucked up as it is, right? It's still like the place to be. You understand? So like I'm trying to. I don't know how I've been on Twitter for like 5 years and I still have like 9 followers, because probably because I don't send or I don't care or whatever. But now I have like a platform where I can say my mind and talk about things. Um, I feel like, yeah, to know. I need to know that there are people that are listening to me. I mean, that helps, right? So yeah, just if you got to this point in the episode, like hit me up on Twitter, General Prime One. I'm going to leave the like link, or I'm going to like leave it the link in my what's in the description. And yeah, thank you for listening to me. Thank you for giving me your listening ears. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for your support. And also, don't forget to like, the main thing is like to rate the episode. Like if you listen, don't forget to like rate it. You know, like the way they leave likes on YouTube. Yeah, they leave rates here, and they like tell me what you think about it. So yeah, that's that about that, man. Um, thank you for today, basically. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys. Talk to you guys next week. All right, bye everybody.